Hi, I am Michael from Jamaica, and in my head, I have the stock recommendations for your financial independence, man. While high volatility on the stock market is straining the nerves of many investors, and the major indices are only slowly progressing, country in the south of the American continent is awakening from its economic catalepsy of several years. Today, we are talking about CRESUD, an Argentinian conglomerate listed on the US stock exchange and also tradable in Europe. Within the collapse of the Argentine economy, not only does the bottom now appear to have been reached, but there are clear signs of a purposeful recovery. And whenever an entire economy recovers from a collapse and sets out to climb to new heights, there is an opportunity for forward-looking investors to raise money at low risk. CRESUD is only one of several ways to profit from the Argentine economic spring. Hey, I will mention other interesting Argentine investment opportunities during the course of the video, but without going into detail about them. And finally, let's take a look at the current chart for technical entry scenarios. Furthermore, I have pinned the name of the winner of last week Bitcoin draw above the comments on this video. Listen, man, if this topic interests you, then stay tuned. After the rich disclaimer, we continue. CRESUD is headquartered in Buenos Aires, Argentina. The company has been tradable on the stock exchange since 1997. You can read the corresponding trading symbols right above me. To understand the extent of the economic downturn in Argentina, you need to know a few figures, man. You see, in 2018, the companies listed on the Argentine Stock Exchange were valued at $350 billion. In the depths of the economic crisis last year, the value was only $20 billion. In other words, the stock market is still close to historic lows. And with 50% inflation, the national currency has already lost over 90% of its value. All this has been compounded by a corona crisis, which has led to the world's longest lockdown of over 200 days in Argentina, and which has given the already battered economy the rest. Companies such as BSF, Walmart, Burger King, and Starbucks, to name but a few, reduced their branches or withdrew their companies from Argentina altogether. You see, a country sliding along the precipice, led by a corrupt political caste. How can therefore a glorious new start for the economy be achieved? Well, what distinguishes the country is its experience in dealing with economic crises of all kinds. There is no other country in the world that has the experience so many state bankruptcies, currency devaluations, and economic collapses in the last 100 years as Argentina. But after each collapse, the country reinvented itself, only to rise like a phoenix from the ashes to new economic and cultural highs a few years later. So, Argentina is a crisis-proven stand-up guy whose business leaders have not only learned to survive these crises, but also to draw possible advantages from them for their companies. And the Argentine market has a long tradition of rewarding those who make counter-cyclical bets on the country's ability to keep reinventing itself. Nevertheless, rather more precisely, because of this, smart money has recently begun to take a closer look at the situation. Investment thrust in selected companies cannot be overlooked. The economic situation of Argentina is reminiscent of Russia in the late 1990s, a sweet spot for crisis investors. An interesting opportunity to participate in this development is our current company, CRESUD. Is a diversified conglomerate, but at its core, a farmland and real estate holding company. The management has done an excellent job in these crisis-ridden times. Above all, the time was used to significantly improve the debt structure. The increase in global return to economic normality and the rise in commodity prices have now given the company an initial boost. And since 1997, the share price has fluctuated between a high of 25.82 and a low of 2.32 in March 2020. Benefited from the global return to economic normality, the rise in the commodities prices, the share price has risen since then and is now around $7. This is an increase over the 300% since last year's low. Although the share price has risen sharply, it is still close to its all-time low. This means that the downside risk is manageable, while there's still a lot of room to the upside. Hey, so let's take a closer look at CRESUD as a conglomerate. The company itself owns 100% of 60,000 hectares of farmland in Argentina through IRS. A 62% Argentinian subsidiary, CRESUD owns an impressive portfolio of urban real estate, including the country's best shopping malls, best shopping centers, office buildings, and first-class hotels, including a majority stake in a bank, as well as other properties. The company also owns farmland in Brazil, Bolivia, and Paraguay, through another subsidiary called Brazil Argo, LND, of which CRESUD is a 41% shareholder. The picture is rounded off by the 22% stake in the AgroFi, an exciting technology company that operates an e-commerce platform for trading agricultural processed products in South America. What we find particularly exciting about this company, however, is the fact that the founder and CEO, Eduardo Elstein, is also the majority shareholder of CRESUD. And with a 35% stake in the company, he is wearing his own skin to the market. Hey, so with that said, let's now look at the chart. As we can see here in the weekly chart, a solid bottom has been found between 2.70 and 7.40. However, the gap from August 2019 must be closed in order to brighten up the chart significantly. The bulls will only have the scepter firmly in their hands once again, once this mark of 8.90 is sustainably overcome. So, does an investment make sense at the moment? Well, if we look at the daily chart, the current situation becomes clearer. The increasingly accelerating upward trend has failed at the resistance of 7.45 for the time being. A correction is likely and is confirmed by our MACD and our stochastics. The correction offers interested parties favorable entry. We are watching the entry level at 6.90, 6.70, and 6.50 in particular, man. So, as we want to avoid chasing the course, we have already opened a small position at the current price on Friday. And this way we are invested and can more calmly follow the corrective movements until the next entry. This means that an investment should be made by step in line with the corrective development. If the resistance at 7.45 proves to be a double top, the market could also dip into the range between 5.90 and 6.10. At the moment, this seems unlikely. If that should happen, the market will be reanalyzed. Let's summarize. Macroeconomically, the world is increasingly freeing itself from the yoke of COVID-19, and this development is also benefiting Argentina. The additional internal and homemade economic problems in Argentina received a first positive boost from the bullish development of commodity prices. Smart money is starting to take an interest in selected Argentine companies, and small investors are also buying in heavily. CRESUD is one of them. The company is broadly positioned across South America and has a CEO who has invested a large part of his private wealth in the company. CRESUD has taken advantage of the crisis to shed all burdens, reduce the debt, and improve the internal structure of the company. We are convinced that as this country is crisis tested it will also end this crisis with a new economic boom. Yeah, man. And no company in Argentina is better placed to profit from this boom than CRESUD. Hey, if you would like to delve deeper into Argentine markets with your investment, we recommend the following companies for your own review. The two CRESUD subsidiaries, IRS and IRSA. Propiedades, that's IRCP. The two energy companies, Pampa Energia, that's PAM, and Impresa END, as well as Transportadora de Gas, TGS. Well, so much for crisis investment in Argentina. Hey, have fun and good luck with your investment, man. Listen, man, if this video has brought you any intellectual added value, please leave a comment. We are also happy to answer any criticisms or suggestions. Subscribe to our channel and benefit from our knowledge and experience on the way to your financial independence, man.